The news hit Brussels like an economic earthquake, sending ripples of anxiety through the city's corridors of power. In an emergency session that stretched late into the night, the stakes could not have been higher. EU leaders unveiled the Strategic Materials Independence Act, a sweeping, multi-billion-euro plan designed to end Europe's dangerous reliance on China for rare earths and other critical materials. Officials described the situation as a direct threat to Europe's economic security and its ambitious green transition. The continent's future, they warned, was at risk. The announcement sent shockwaves through global markets. Investors scrambled to assess the fallout, as it became clear that Europe was done leaving its future in the hands of a single rival. This is a story of power, technology, and a continent's fight for control over its own destiny, a battle that will shape the next generation of European industry. The move follows months of rising tensions, as China, the world's rare earth giant, hinted at tighter export controls and used its dominance as a bargaining chip in global negotiations. For European industries, car makers, wind turbine builders, electronics manufacturers, the threat is existential. Their supply chains, and the jobs of millions, hang in the balance. A supply cut could halt production, threaten jobs, and derail climate goals. The consequences would ripple far beyond factories, affecting communities and Europe's global standing. The EU's hand was forced. Leaders realized that waiting any longer could mean disaster. A senior official called it our Sputnik moment, a wake-up call to prioritize security and resilience over the lure of low cost and convenience. The new strategy is about more than just finding new suppliers. It's a total rethink of industrial policy, innovation, and how Europe will compete in a changing world. Europe is preparing for a new reality, even if it means higher costs now. The goal, long-term stability and independence, no matter the short-term price. The Act funds domestic mining, advanced recycling, and research into alternatives, investing in the future of European technology and sustainability. It also fast-tracks partnerships with countries like Canada and Australia, building new alliances for a more secure supply chain. And it reaches out to key nations in Africa and South America, forging new links in a global network of trusted partners. The message is clear: diversify now, and Europe will back you with investment, technology, and political support. To China, the signal is unmistakable. Europe won't be held hostage by supply threats or political pressure. The reshuffling of global economic power has begun, and Europe is determined to shape its own future, no matter how turbulent the road ahead. What exactly are these rare earths causing all the commotion in the news and industry circles? Why are they suddenly at the heart of Europe's technological and economic future? They're a group of 17 metallic elements, names like neodymium, praseodymium, and terbium. Though their names might sound unfamiliar, their impact is everywhere. Despite the name, these elements aren't actually rare in the Earth's crust, but they're scattered, making them tough and costly to extract and refine into usable forms. These elements are the secret sauce behind high-performance magnets, batteries, and advanced electronics. They're the invisible force powering our modern world. Without rare earths, modern technology, from smartphones and laptops to wind turbines and electric vehicles, would grind to a halt. They're essential for making devices smaller, lighter, and more efficient. Europe's ambitious Green Deal, its roadmap for climate neutrality, and a sustainable future depends heavily on these elements to succeed. Electric vehicles need rare earth magnets for their motors. Wind turbines require hundreds of kilograms of them for each generator. The shift to clean energy is impossible without them. Solar panels, efficient LED lighting, and robotics all rely on a steady, reliable supply of rare earths to function at their best. Europe's defense and aerospace sectors are equally dependent. Rare earths power missile guidance systems, advanced radar, and jet engines, making them vital for national security. Losing access to these materials would cripple both Europe's green ambitions and its security, halting progress and leaving industries vulnerable. The problem is clear: Europe's demand for rare earths is soaring, but its domestic supply is almost non-existent, creating a growing gap. Over 90% of its rare earths are imported, mostly from China, making Europe heavily reliant on a single supplier for these critical resources. What was once a cost-saving strategy for European industries is now a dangerous vulnerability, exposing the continent to supply shocks and geopolitical risks. Europe's economy, innovation, and security are now balanced on a supply chain it doesn't control, making rare earths a critical issue for the continent's future. China's rare earth dominance is no accident. It's the result of decades of investment and strategic planning. By subsidizing production and tolerating lower environmental standards, China drove out global competitors. Today, it controls not just mining, but the complex refining process needed for high-purity metals. This near monopoly gives Beijing enormous leverage. In 2010, China halted rare earth exports to Japan during a dispute, sending shockwaves through global tech. Now, with new export controls, China is tightening its grip again. For Europe, this is an immediate threat. Companies face uncertainty over supplies for cars, wind farms, and more. The risk is no longer theoretical, it's a clear and present danger. As the West restricts tech exports to China, Beijing is flexing its own supply chain power, and Europe is caught in the middle. Europe isn't standing still. Its response: diversify, and fast. The EU is forging alliances with resource-rich, stable democracies like Canada and Australia, offering financial and technical support to develop new mines and processing plants. These aren't just trade deals. They're deep partnerships, with high environmental and labor standards. Europe is also reaching out to Africa and South America, investing in sustainable mining and local processing to help these nations move up the value chain. The EU's Critical Raw Materials Board now coordinates risk management, joint purchasing, and a strategic stockpile. This centralized approach gives Europe bargaining power and unity. The goal: a resilient, ethical, and diversified supply network. Europe is signaling to the world it's serious about securing its future. The boldest part of Europe's plan: building a domestic rare earth supply chain. The EU is backing new mining projects, like the major deposit in Kiruna, Sweden, with fast-track permits and funding. But mining is just the start. Europe is betting big on recycling. Advanced research aims to recover rare earths from old electronics and industrial waste, turning yesterday's trash into tomorrow's resources. Scientists are also developing new materials and magnets that use less or no rare earths at all. The vision: reduce demand, boost resilience, and innovate out of dependency. The EU is offering incentives for companies to build processing and manufacturing plants at home. For the first time in decades, Europe wants to control the entire value chain, from raw materials to finished tech. True independence means making, not just buying, what Europe needs. The EU's moves, and China's controls, are transforming European business. Companies are scrambling to secure alternative suppliers, even at higher costs, shifting from just-in-time to just-in-case strategies. Automakers are redesigning motors to use less rare earths or investing directly in overseas mines. The job market is shifting too. Demand for geologists, engineers, and recycling experts is surging. If Europe succeeds in bringing processing home, thousands of new high-skilled jobs could follow. Investors are pouring money into recycling startups and rare earth-free tech. Mining stocks outside China are soaring, and diversified supply chains are now seen as a mark of corporate strength. The market is rewarding resilience, and Europe's new strategy is reshaping the rules. China now faces a pivotal decision: should it wield its rare earth leverage with force, or risk driving Europe to seek total independence from its supply chains? The stakes are high, and the world is watching closely as this economic chess game unfolds. No matter what China chooses, Europe's direction is clear. The continent has resolved that it will no longer accept being wholly dependent on a single supplier for the resources that shape its future. This is a turning point in European policy. Europe's new approach is nothing short of a declaration of economic sovereignty. Leaders are signaling their willingness to invest more for resilience, security, and control over critical industries, even if it means higher costs in the short term. This marks a historic shift away from the old model of pure efficiency, toward a new era where strategic security and self-reliance take center stage in economic planning. As a result, the world may soon witness the rise of parallel supply chains, one dominated by China and another built by Western democracies, each vying for influence and stability. While this new system could become more fragmented and expensive, it also promises greater stability and less vulnerability to sudden shocks or political pressure. For resource-rich developing nations, this growing competition between global powers means more choices, increased bargaining power, and the potential for better deals and partnerships. The global rules of supply and demand are being rewritten before our eyes as nations adapt to a rapidly changing economic landscape. Europe's hard lesson from its past dependency on Russian gas is unmistakable. Never again will it allow itself to be so vulnerable to external pressures. The journey toward true independence will be challenging and costly, but the price of inaction is far greater. Europe is determined to reclaim its industrial future, forging a path defined by resilience, innovation, and renewed confidence.